What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day, another episode of the Daily Grind. I'm your host, 30NSG, and on today's show, we're going to be talking about Sony Corporation announces a business alliance with Kadokawa. Kadokawa? Is that how you pronounce it? I always butcher it. We're going to talk about Destiny 2 in Minecraft, fan-made. It's free to play. You can actually go play that on Minecraft. We're going to watch a video about that. We're also going to talk about the canceled Star Wars Battlefront 3 gameplay leaks. Not Battlefront 3 from the new EA version, but Star Wars Battlefront 3 gameplay leaks from the old version of 2009. We're going to take a look at that. We're going to talk about Elder Scrolls Online. Devs are stopping annual chapter updates. We'll talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about Final X-Defiant update features, content from a planned seasons. And then if we hit our goal of 5 Super Chats today, we'll watch the Superman trailer on the stream. Obviously, we'll get demonetized for that. That's why we're putting a goal of 5 Super Chats. I have watched it, but if you guys want me to watch it on stream and talk about it, I will do that if we hit that goal. If we don't hit the goal, it's no big deal. We just won't watch it on stream, and then we can talk about it later. But yeah, that's what's on today's show. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 5 o'clock. Jesus Christ. From 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. If you like what I do, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. What's going on, Nate? What's going on, Eclipse? What's going on, Jason? What's going on, Stealth? Robert Jones, Hilly, good morning. Z, good morning. Did I miss anybody? I don't think I missed anybody. Wonder Rose, good morning. All right, so let's start off. This morning. Let's start off with the canceled Star Wars Battlefront 3 talk. Okay, I still think Battlefront 3 is still in the works from EA or somebody, right? Like, I can't imagine that they don't make another Star Wars Battlefront game within the next, like, couple of years. But that's here nor there. Right. What we are talking about is canceled Star Wars Battlefront 3 gameplay leaks online. So back in the mid to late 2000, developer Free Radical Design was working on a third installment of the popular Star Wars Battlefront series for Nintendo Wii in 2008. However, Star Wars Battlefront 3 was ultimately canceled for a variety. He said the reasons. Now, 16 years later, Star Wars Battlefront 3 gameplay has leaked online for players to see for themselves. Now, according to the video, the build was found via Free Radical Archive. According to them, it comes from a build dated roughly a week before the game's cancellation. Now, this build may be the final week of development. It's full of content that has also not been seen before by fans. Now, we have seen some footage of Battlefront 3 in the past, but this is a really long version of it. Now, obviously, the graphics are dated because we're talking 16 years ago. The video below shows both gameplay as well as the recreation of the game's PC trailer using the Wii build. So let's watch this. All right, let me get this set up for you guys. Oh, is this Star Wars music? We're going to probably get hit for this as well. It says the new build from Free Radical cancellation 2008 game Star Wars Battlefront for Nintendo Wii was recently been recovered by the Free Radical Archive. This build is dated just over 1 week prior to the game's cancellation and potentially the last Wii build the game has ever tested. The following trailer recreated on PC Game Trailer was also created by Free Radical in November of 2008. Okay. We're going to shut the music off because we don't need to actually hear the music because we're definitely going to get hit for the Star Wars music. So, what's going on, our artist? Says, while Free Radical community intended to mod the game to improve upon it, the game was also canceled while it's still in development. There are many bugs and issues that may not be resolved. Go on, Waterbear. You can also support the Free Radical Archive using the Ko-Fi link description below. All right, so let's get this moving here. Okay, so Star Wars. Here's some footage. I love the original Star Wars Battlefront series. It was so good. 1 and 2, the conquest mode and whatnot. Again, this is on the Wii U. Okay. for the graphics. I would love if they just took this, and brought this out. Instead of doing the Battlefront 1-2 collection that they released earlier this year, they could have done Battlefront 3 for the first time and released it. I think that would have sold quite well if they actually had it. But going from the ground into the ship and then going up to the atmosphere, you could have done this. We talked about this years ago when we had other footage leak, right? So this would be amazing if this was Battlefront 3 for EA, right? I mean, we just played it last night. We played Battlefront 2 last night with Sarge. I love that game, right? And if they could make a Battlefront 3, or we play Battlefront 2, if they could make a Battlefront 3 with the graphics that they had, forget about it. Waterbear says, good morning, guys. So I just checked out the Superman trailer. Man, I'm really surprised. It looks really good. I'm going to hold my thoughts off to it, Water. If we hit the super chat goal, I will show it on stream, and I will give you my thoughts. I gave a little Discord, not jokingly, but putting Henry Cavill as Superman in the Discord. Like, I'm excited, but I'm not sold, is all I'll say. I think you could play it. There's a way to do it on PC. It's just really hard to do anything because nothing is programming to it. Oh, so you could say you could actually play this, is what you're saying, Eclipse. I mean, look at this. I don't care outdated or not, and plus these are the Wii U graphics. I would 100% play this. 100% play this. I would love this if this was an EA. How Star Wars, how Lucasfilm, how Disney don't have a third one in the works, because regardless of what happened to Star Wars Battlefront 2 because of the microtransaction debacle, they sold, I think, 12 to 15 million copies of that game. It wasn't like a non-success. It was 100% a success. It's just it got shit on, and then was the catalyst of the loot boxes system. And obviously, there's no more loot boxes in games because of it. So here, I'm gonna put music behind me. This looks great. And this is Wii U graphics, I missed that. I missed that from the first game. You could have two players in the same vehicle. Freaking Ewoks. Maybe the Gungans. It's weird how the reticle moves around. It would be revolutionary now. And there was supposed to be like a full story in this as well. Like, we were so close to like a perfect game for what Star Wars did with Battlefront 2. If he just got rid of the loot boxes from the start, like if they never had the loot boxes there and they just put a Galactic Conquest in there, like that game would be like amazing right now. Because you could play the single player type of stuff, Like, there is a story. All the different areas that you had to go to. Man, we've come a long way in 20 years, huh? Not even 15, 16 years. Hell, 10 years, really. Because if you look at the graphics here, and then you look at the graphics that they did for EA for Battlefront, like, what? What are we talking about? Like night and day. We're gonna go from this to watch Destiny 2 Minecraft in a second. Look at all the. I'm so pissed that they didn't make this. I mean, they made it. It's here. They just never released it. like hindsight's 2020. Like you're looking at this going, oh man, this looks shitty. But at the same time, like, how did we not get this? And these games were very successful, by the way. Battlefront 1 and 2 originally were really successful. And yet, they never released Battlefront 3 because of reasons. Let me see if I can, the original... Do they have the original sales numbers? No, they don't. They have the sales numbers for the EA versions, but not the original ones. Well, it was funny, Eclipse. They had, this is before a lot of you guys watched me, but we actually, on GXG, if you go back and watch back in 2000, I think it was like 2016, I think it's before Battlefront 2 came out, right? It's because of The Last Jedi. So before The Last Jedi came out, because that came out in 2017, and Star Wars Battlefront 2 came out around the same time, 2017, right? Because it was 2015 for Force Awakens, 2017 for The Last Jedi. Before The Last Jedi came out, their plans for Star Wars was Battlefield, Battlefront, Battlefield, Battlefront. They were going to constantly release a Star Wars game in between the years they weren't making a Battlefield game, okay? They were going to constantly make, so they had Battlefield, then they had Battlefront, then they had Battlefield, and they had another Battlefront, okay? But The Last Jedi, and people, like, didn't see this, right? So, Last Jedi came out, and it imploded the brand of Star Wars, okay? Force Awakens had the goodwill of people love Star Wars. They went to go see Star Wars, right? Star Wars Battlefront 1 came out. They had the expansions or DLCs that came out for the, like, linked in with the movie type of stuff. Then they came out with Battlefield the following year in 2016. And then 2017, The Last Jedi came out. And the whole fucking brand and series imploded. Everyone's like, no, I love that movie. It's so great. But toy sales dropped. No one saw Solo. Star Wars is being sued because of loot boxes. They went to court and whatnot. They were supposed to do a Star Wars game every other year, and it was going to be a Battlefield after in 2018, and then 2019 was supposed to be Battlefield 3. Here we are, years later, and there's no Battlefront game whatsoever. They fucked up the Battlefield series, okay? All of these things that happened all because of Last Jedi imploded the brand. If the brand wasn't hurt by that movie, right? Rogue One would have done better. Rogue One was a successful movie, by the way. It would have done better. Solo would have done better, okay? The Last Jedi would have done better and been, you know, the brand wouldn't have been tainted, okay? Star Wars Battlefront 2 would have had a Battlefront 3 from EA, but none of that happened because of Rian Johnson completely tainting, right, the water of Star Wars brand, which is a shame. Because at this point, we could have had not only a continued success with Battlefront 2, we might have had a Battlefront 3. We would have. I 100% would have had a Battlefront 3. Okay? And maybe it would have been a live service game, and maybe it would have continued, you know, supporting to this day. But people are still playing Battlefront 2, right? I think right now, there's this actual sale going on. I think Xbox is giving Battlefront 2 away right now. Okay? Eclipse says, kind of like Call of Duty, have a different game every year, probably having a different team working on each game. Yeah, it was supposed to be one or the other. And it would have been great. It would have been great. But, nope, we don't have that anymore. They mostly finished it and didn't release it for some reason. I believe the company went bankrupt, if I'm not... I'm pretty sure. Right? Let me see. I almost put in New Radical and not Free Radical. Oh, it's Free Radical, right? Yeah, Free Radical. Let's see here. Weren't they called Free Radical Games? Or was it Studio? Free Radical closure confirmed, but that's in 2023. I guess they I don't know why they stopped doing it back then. That's 2008. That's before Disney bought them. No, they're doing 10 things every day, Mo. They're doing something. Right now, Star Wars, I believe, is free. Yesterday or 2 days ago was Battlefield, and now it's Battlefront. The clip says, as Star Wars fan, I actually liked Force Unleashed. Was it the greatest Star Wars movie? No. They played it very safe, but it also worked. And then the Last Jedi came out. The Force Unleashed. You mean Force Awakened? You're talking about the first one, Episode 7. Force Unleashed was a video game, wasn't it? I think you got that mixed up. Yeah, that's fine. I was like, wait, Force Unleashed? Like, isn't that a thing? It's a thing, but is it the thing? Yeah, they're releasing something. I saw something about it. Hold on. Let me look it up. I believe Xbox is giving away something. I don't know if it's Xbox or if it's EA. Yeah. So, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate giving away free games. If you're an Ultimate guy, giving out digital copies of Battlefield 1 Revolution for free. They're also giving out other ones. Let's see, Xbox Ultimate subscribers until December 18th. According to update, Microsoft Store's listing for games, when logged into the account, Xbox Ultimate gamers should notice a small Just For You banner to indicate Battlefield 1 Revolution is part of the promotion. In addition to buy to own, should say that the title is free. They are giving out other ones as well. So they did Revolution. I think today is Battlefront 2, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe it's not for everybody, but I do know. Yeah, here it is. Xbox Ultimate giveaway. Free 2017 Star Wars game. Yeah, they're giving out Battlefront 2 right now. Yeah, Star Wars Battlefront 2 Celebration Edition at no extra cost until December 20th. Yeah, the Xbox Store. Unlike the game's Standard Edition and Celebration Edition, includes more than 25 hero appearances, 125 trooper and reinforcement appearances, 100 hero and trooper emotes and voice lines, and 70 hero trooper victory poses. This is the first time Star Wars Battlefront 2 Celebration Edition has been given away for free. As Epic gamers could also pick it up for free last year or back in 2021, but now it's Xbox users can do it. So I have to go download that because I have Battlefront 2, but I don't have the Celebration Edition. Go on, Sarge. Go on, Titan. Morning, Altorn. Battlefield 1 was free. It's not free anymore. It ended yesterday. Now today is Battlefront 2 till the 20th, which is tomorrow. What the fuck is the Celebration Edition? Celebration Edition, Sarge, is basically all the cosmetics, all the voice lines that like you could unlock. They just give it to you. It was a way to, once the game was like closing down back in 2020 or 2021, they launched that with all the things that people could buy for like $50, the people that didn't own it, and that's what they did. So now they're giving away that for free. So make sure you go and like download that. Actually, I'm gonna turn it on right now just to see. What tab do you go to? Is there a certain area you go to? I don't see it. I see it like, it says I already own it. Oh, here it is. If you go look it up, it says just for you. If you type in Star Wars Battlefront 2 and go to different editions. Yeah. Yep, and you can upgrade. So if you have it, you can upgrade to it. So make sure you go do that. If you have Star Wars Battlefront 2, you want to get all the other stuff with no extra cost, just go, you can upgrade. Yeah, it's discounted heavily if you're not Ultimate, but if you're Ultimate, they give it to you for free. Hilly says a Celebration Edition is the end-of-life edition, and the developer has given up on the search for more money within its product only. That's right. Right. It's they put it out of its misery edition. Yeah, like right now, Sarge. It lasts for 2 days. If you go to the store, go to Microsoft tab, type in Star Wars Battlefront 2. It'll say you own it. But click on it, hit the start button on it, and then go to store shop and pick edition, and you'll see it say for you. Okay, it'll say for you, and then you can click on it and upgrade for free. I mean, why not? We're playing it all the time anyway. So now you'll have all the different skins and voice lines and stuff like that. All right. I want to go to the second video here. Second video here is about Destiny 2. Some crazy bastard created Destiny 2 inside of Minecraft. Okay? Let me repeat this to you. Okay? So they created Destiny 2 with inside Minecraft. It's a fan-made edition. Okay, so let's watch this together, shall we? This is pretty impressive.
Destiny 2 in Minecraft. It's actually a thing, and it's really fun. Patrol zones, strikes, missions, classes, exotics, it's all there. Even a working dawning event. Welcome Guardians, today we take a journey through a fan-created Minecraft server that's pretty epic. Browsing Reddit.
Sarge says, I still don't like EA. Well, you bought the game 8 years ago. You haven't gave them a dime in 8 years, and you're still playing the game. And now they're giving you the upgraded version for absolutely nothing. Yeah. Eclipse says, so Bungie can't make new things, but a whole fan made the whole game in another game. That's correct. Yeah, pretty much.
For Destiny information, as I always do, I came across Destiny 2 Minecraft Edition. It's a free-to-join server on the Java edition of Minecraft and has its own wiki and Discord.
Look at this. He literally created the game.
Board with developer updates. It says D2MC is a semi-faithful recreation of the hit MMORPG franchise created by Bungie. It aims to provide a short, fun experience that anyone can enjoy, even if you've never played the real game. A trailer for this was also posted yesterday, and the links to everything can be found in the description. I don't play much Minecraft, but clearly I love Destiny, so gave it a try for a bit, and man, this must have been a lot of work. Upon spawning in, you pick your class in the Cosmodrome and begin a new light experience where you go through a
Look at this! He built the goddamn Cosmodrome with the wall and everything.
Tutorial and learn the basics. Signs explain how the game works, picking a class, equipping primary, secondary, and heavy weapons, and even armor.
The gun sounds so amazing. The sound design's amazing. Oh, is that the walker? That's amazing.
The farm is the social space for the Minecraft edition, and it has many different vendors and even a working dawning event, which is pretty funny. We can't even get close to that in Destiny 2 currently.
They made a working dawning event inside of Minecraft, but it's not working inside of Destiny 2. Gaming 2024. Gotta love it. Come on, Argus. Got vendors. He literally made the farm. Literally made the farm. Amazing. Let's put it this way. Right? This person that made this in Minecraft loves Destiny so much, but would rather play Minecraft Destiny, made Destiny inside of Minecraft, because he's probably upset at Destiny. I bet you don't have to buy the shaders. There's the soccer goal. Is it the Traveler in the background?
I even took part in this cool public event at the farm with a giant witness hand. This clip is a little lower res because OBS was messing up, but you get the idea. I'm currently only around level 20, but so far I've been able to patrol the EDZ, which has a couple of bubble zones like the Winding Cove and Firebase Hades. You'll run into Fallen, Cabal, Briggs, and even Goliath tanks. Around level 17, I was introduced to Titan for a few minutes and found a Dark Blade.
You know what the crazy part is? I played this game so much that what he's showing me right now, I'm having like flashbacks of Destiny, right? I'm like, I know exactly where he is. Like, what a great job this person has done.
The wiki says the game has the EDZ, Titan, Nessus, and Io, as well as the Cosmodrome, Vex Network, Ishtar Sync, Mars, the Dark Forest, and more, which could just be in missions. Oh, and there's also sparrows you can use to traverse the spaces. The major enemies you'd expect are here too. Fallen, Hive, Vex, Cabal, Taken, and even the Dread. Tormentors
Look at this.
work just like you'd expect, and it's always terrifying.
Wow.
When you use this certain item, it basically is your director. You can see the different locations you can visit, and even at the top right, a major order system kind of like Helldivers, which is a very nice touch. Something like this with community goals more often in Destiny 2 would be a...
They added community goals. What is wrong with the gaming industry today? What is wrong with the gaming industry today? Look at what fans are making in other games.
great addition, and maybe even keep player numbers up for a bit depending on what they would offer. I didn't get to take part in this yet, it comes out at level 40, but I wanted to try some of the strikes. It includes so far the Arms Dealer, Savathun Song, Insight Terminus, Pyramidion, and the Devil's Lair. If PvP is your thing, Crucible is also there and has various maps to play on.
What?
So if you enjoy Destiny and Minecraft, this is definitely worth checking out, even for just a bit to mess around. I believe this has been around for a long time, but it deserves some more recognition, these community creations.
Yeah, I didn't know this was around, so this has been around for quite a bit.
Hardcore Destiny fans creating a fun experience for players. And I'm not sure how this map creation works, if they place it block by block or
Like, holy Christ.
they have some type of system to sort of model different chunks and things like
They're probably using MC Edit, I would assume. They just carve it around and then go back in and make the details.
that, but I can only imagine it took a very long time. So if you are interested, the details are in the description down below. Destiny 2 fan projects are always fun to check out, and even more so when aspects of the real game aren't really working as intended. But if you'd like to see some more Destiny 2 news, lore, and mysteries just like
crazy.
this video, please be sure to subscribe to the channel.
So,
I thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch
is he
you
not going
all
to show any
in
more?
the next video.
Oh, he's gonna show some footage still. I think they actually have a trailer that came out as well. Entering the Lost Sector. Do you have abilities as well as a Guardian? Now, I did say I would never play Destiny again, right? But I do play Minecraft, and I would check this out just to see how it is, right? Because I would never go back and play Destiny, Bungie's Destiny. But I would go and check this out inside of Minecraft. Like, look at what they've done. That's crazy. See what happens when you have passionate people right? You see what happens when you have passionate people? Now think about what people are going to do inside like a Fortnite. Now imagine if someone does this in Fortnite. Imagine someone does this inside of the Unreal Engine, inside of Fortnite, where you can be the Guardians and whatnot. Sarge says, okay, you want a list? You want a list? Okay, here it comes. Bloated, greedy, creativity, bankrupt, lazy, corporate, no more soul, MVP, land and lazy. And yes, lazy is there twice for good reason. This is very impressive. And someone I forget who posted it in Discord yesterday. Was it Robert Jones? I think Robert Jones posted this. I'll look it up in a second. But I love showing stuff like this because some of you might look at it and go, you know what? This is great. I'm going to go give it a shot. So there you go. Let me go check out to see. I think Robert Jones did it. Was it in general chat? Or did you guys post it in the... Oh, no, I guess it wasn't in submitted stories. Yeah, Jones did it. Yeah, I mean, we can watch the trailer, too. Let me bring up this trailer. Let me get past the certain section where he screams. All right. Yeah, it's Java only. We're gonna get hit with the music thing. Did you just get dropped on with an anvil? Functional Strike playlist. All right, these are features. Functional Strike playlist. Third person Crucible PvP. Horde modes. Yeah, amazing. Horde mode. You got quests, daily bounties, 200 plus items, simplified game loop, red war locations, and the best part, no mods required. So there you go. Play for free now on Minecraft Java 1.20.1. So there you go. Pretty cool. So if you want to go play some Destiny 2, but you just don't want to play Destiny 2, you can go play Destiny 2 in Java Minecraft. Oh, yeah. That music will probably get copyright striked right there. 100%. Which is fine. YouTube lets me cut out some music and stuff like that. It just takes it's a pain in the ass on the back end. But we'll mute it or whatever at the part that it's gonna ping me at. All right, next story. Elder Scrolls Online devs are stopping annual chapter updates. If you guys like what I do, we do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just cover news stories, have conversations about it. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you'd like to go above and beyond that. Become a member as low as $5. All right, so Elder Scrolls Online devs are stopping annual chapter updates. ZeniMax Online Studios has revealed in a recent blog post that going into 2025, it'll be halting the annual chapter updates that have been running since 2017. It all started with Morrowind, and also most recently, players got their hands on Gold Road. Before I even read any more of this, does this mean that if they're halting stuff, Does this mean they're winding down Elder Scrolls Online and that there's going to be an Elder Scrolls 6 in the next 2 years? Maybe. Going forward, that cadence will change with the team doing away with the larger chapters that are also released every June and focusing on a season-based model. This will allow the team to sprinkle content throughout the year rather than crunching to meet the June deadline for a new chapter every year. Now, right on the checkout, this major change is coming to Elder Scrolls Online. It says shaking things up. Okay. In a post Elder Scrolls Online site, the game studio director Matt Bureau broke down the chapter changes coming to ESO in 2025. At the end of last year, we gave a slight heads up that we would also be shaking things up. We will still do lots of story content, but now, looking at 2025, we need to concentrate on different types of content to support all types of ESO players. So we're putting chapters aside, and we'll be focusing on new types of content and new release philosophy. Over the course of 2025, we'll be moving more towards a seasonal content model and away from launching massive content updates once a year, as we did with the chapters. We will be talking much more about this in the future, but in 2025, expect to see named seasons of 3 or 6 months durations with a mix of theme story content, event story items, and dungeons and more. This overhaul is designed to free up the development team and reduce the stress of keeping up an annual schedule, which also has been running consistently for the last 7 years. In blog post, reference changes the gaming industry players' habits and also rise or fall competing titles as reasons behind this major update. Well, they're also removing some of the thing, right? So they obviously moving on to, didn't they say they're working on another game? Like the company, obviously these guys are not the same people that make Elder Scrolls 6, but these guys I know wanted to make another. I could have sworn there was like another MMO they wanted to make. But who knows what that is, right? And then also Bethesda wants to make finally Elder Scrolls 6. So to that end, players also can stop expecting a major update every year. Instead, they'll be getting bite-sized content drops every few months. Okay, so in the community-led changes that also allow teams to become less predictable. There's also an ambitious roadmap shaping up for 2025. Though the team is hard at work on the new story content in existing territories, boosting up the new starter experience and bringing more light to hallmark factions like the Dark Brotherhood and Thieves Guild. Those changes will also come hand in hand with the UI upgrade, visual enhancements, and tweaks and animations in the game performance as you expected. Now, Elder Scrolls Online is now more than 10 years old, but ZeniMax Online Studios shows no sign of slowing down when it comes to these enhancements. Are you looking forward to the shift away from annual chapters? I think a lot of things what this does is, one, like it says, it frees up the team so they can go do other things, okay? Two, I think is the player base that, like myself, who stopped playing such a long time ago, where every year there's new content coming out, and I feel like overwhelmed, where now if they stop that story-based content, I can probably slowly catch up. But let's be honest, me personally, I probably won't go back and play it just because there's just not enough time for me to do stuff like that, because I'm always playing like newer games, or we're playing old games as well. Like we were still playing Battlefront 2. We're still playing, we were playing Division 2, right? We were playing all these other games that have been old in the past. I'm still playing Minecraft. I still play, right? I'm going back to play No Man's Sky. I'm going back to play Fortnite. I'm going back to play a lot of games, Fallout 76. These games are 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, and I'm still going back and playing these games, and I'm not going back and playing, I don't have time to go back and play Elder Scrolls. But with this, it does give smaller chunks, so maybe even I'll go back and try out the new event that they put out instead of going, oh, well, it's this huge event, it's $40, it's $50. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, I know they were working on something in the past. They're freeing up, move those guys to something else. We do know that Bethesda itself wants to make Elder Scrolls 6. It's been, 6 years since they showed the trailer for Elder Scrolls 6. So maybe in the next 2-3 years we see something about that. But who knows? Hilly's still trying to get me to play DayZ. He says, you should play DayZ. Someone told me it's dope. I don't know who that is. Little birdie. Old Hilly. Let's go on, Mr. Luke. So yeah, these are just my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section down below. What do you think about ESO? Are you a person that's been playing ESO for every single major update that they've come out? Is this more up your alley now, where you're like, you know what? I don't know if I want to go play the seasonal content, but I'd rather go play these little small bites of content that come out in the future now. Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe. If you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. All right. Makoki says ESO moving towards seasonal model is a big mistake. When Bungie moved to a seasonal model, it was the beginning of the end. Well, they might want it to be the beginning of the end, Makoki. You know what I mean? This is an MMO. They might want to make another MMO, right? So maybe they are winding down. There's plenty of content there. So if you're a brand new person coming into ESO and you've never ever played before, there's so much content, right? You have the main story, then you have 7 years, right? 7 expansions that came out over the last, decade that you can play. And they're still giving you content. They're just not giving you the content like they've been doing for the last 7 years. Sarge says that's corporate speak. That means the content they're working on doesn't generate money. So they're changing the focus on things that generate money. That's true as well. Eclipse says maybe it means that you're going to update the combat. The combat needs an update. Only reason why I stopped playing the game is because I don't like the combat. Krebsy's the same way. Krebsy doesn't like the combat in ESO. What is the current ESO structure? Elder Scrolls Online, what they did was they would have a massive expansion every June for the last 7 years. Okay, but before that, they would lead up to it with like a new dungeon, a couple little bits of story. Then they would drop the big chunk of it in June every year. And then they would have little things. Now they're getting rid of the big chunk, so there's no big chunk. And it's just going to be seasonal events, right? So it's going to be like, I'm trying to think of what kind of example I could give you, Jones. I'm assuming it's sort of like Division 2 now, right? Where Division 2 used to give expansions, but then they stopped and they did the seasonal stuff. So it was like a battle pass type of thing, and there was like different events that you would do and just kind of like play the game. But there wouldn't be a massive story. It was more like a story told through in the game, where it wasn't like cutscenes and stuff like that. Roic says it's almost like trying to get into Destiny 2. There's a lot of digest there. Yeah, Roic, that's actually right? So, like, if you've never played Destiny 2, there's a shit ton of stuff. It's almost overwhelming. Same with Warframe. Warframe is very overwhelming if you've never played Warframe before and you're like years coming in later. You're like, oh my God. But at the same time, if you do get into it, sort of like a Path of Exile, right? Any type of game like that. There's so much content over the last decade for a lot of these games that you're like, where? I don't know if I want to try it. But if you come in, man, is it worth your money? Man, is it worth your time? Like, if you come in to play ESO, if you're on Game Pass right now, let's say you just started gaming, right? Maybe you're 10 years old, 12 years old. You pick up Game Pass, and obviously it's on other systems. The reason I'm just saying Game Pass is you pay $20 a month, okay, for Ultimate, or $10 a month, whatever it is. You could play ESO online and get all the content that's in the game for free up until the latest, greatest expansion. You have so much content. It's 100% worth the money just for that game if you're into that game. Right? So much stuff. Kudapapa says the combat is fine. It's just not the standard MMO combat. True. I understand that people want the combat to be better, but I'm okay with the combat myself. But I do understand the criticism of the combat in that game compared to other games. I picked the complete ESO collection like $20 a few weeks ago when it was on sale. Yeah, it's an insane deal, right? Insane deal. Clip says, what's cool about it? So that you can just buy the monthly subscription, get everything you don't have to buy the expansions. Right. You could play everything up until the newest expansion that came out. Lucas says that would be awesome. I keep saying Game Pass should have a tier that has all the DLC included for games. ESO does that. ESO gives you all the DLC up until, I think, the newest edition you can play by just, playing the game. Go play Black Desert Online and tell me it's fine. I think Eclipse, I think the game itself is fine, but I totally understand the criticism of comparing that game to other games that came in after it. You know what I mean? I think, look, let's just say it wouldn't hurt ESO if they updated the combat system. You see what I'm saying? It's not like someone's playing the game and then they put a better system in and they're like, well, I'm just not going to play this game anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like, the combat's fine. It's fine. But if they made the combat system better in ESO, people are not going to be like, well, they fixed the combat system, I'm out. I really like the old shitty version of it. Well, actually, I'd like to know the combat controversy. What about it needs to be changed? It's a little bit stiff, Sarge. Like when you're in combat in that game compared to, I'm trying to think of another game. Like, just think of obviously it's a different type of game, but if you're playing like Diablo, right? The way that the melee and stuff is hit there feels better than it does in ESO. Now, obviously, one's an MMO and one's an action RPG and stuff like that. Do you remember playing Star Wars Galaxies back in the day? Like how stiff it was? That's almost how ESO feels because it was created, 11, 12 years ago. Exactly, Rowick. Right. In today's standards, it's not great. But it was when it first released, it was good. It's just kind of there. It's good. It's fine. But compared to new ones that have come out, it's not great. It's just very janky as an action MMO, but you don't feel like that you're playing an action game. Right. Right. It's almost like, what game did I recently play? It just felt janky. What game was it? Like, it didn't feel fluid. It was an action game. Oh, here, you know what it's like? Obviously, it's a bad example. Playing Brighter Shore when you're doing melee combat, and it like stands still, and they're like, right? I'm not saying that ESO is that, but that's basically the version of it, right? Compared to new MMOs, where you're like twirling around and doing like melee combat, ESO is like that type of thing compared to Liberty, Throne and Liberty. Throne and Liberty feels much better, right? If ESO had Throne and Liberty combat in it, it would be better. Kuda Papa says, I think the combat actually is pretty good. It's got weight, certain weapons. BDO tries to flash the combat up and make things fast. Maybe I'm just used to games like Mount and Blade combat. Yeah, but Kuda Papa, it wouldn't hurt the game if they updated the combat, is what I'm saying, right? It wouldn't hurt the game. Unless they really fucked up the new combat system. And Dustin only buys new games if it's interesting, right? But he also has 40 games in his backlog that he's not playing, that by the time he gets to the 40th game, that game is on sale that he could have picked up for a lot less money. I'm sorry, Dustin. I know you buy so many games, and I joke with you. You buy so many games you can't play them right away, and by the time you get to them, it'll be on sale or free or on Game Pass. You buy so many games that the game company is out of business by the time you get to their game to save them. Rorik says they incorporated some skill combos, so it's a little better than it was. Water Bear says 40. Try a million. Bob says, 30, I agree. I just don't think every game needs a flashbang swoop that doesn't make the combat good. I don't mind a slower combat system where the hammer takes more to swing. I don't think that's the problem. Here, you know what? Let me bring up something. Let's look at this for a second. I want to 11 months ago, Force Gaming's got gameplay from 6 months ago. All right, let me get to some gameplay that he has. Is there somebody that has... I just want to see gameplay. The one I'm finding is like from... Okay, ESO, change everything... Okay. Is everyone a goddamn magician? I want like melee. All right, let me see if I can use this one. No, that's not a good one either. All right, this is from 5 years ago, which is I'm assuming the combat's still the same. Nope, he doesn't really show combat here either. Jesus Christ. Like, seriously? 4 months ago. All right. All right, let me get that, and let me get another one now. Let me do Thrones and Throne and Liberty. Bum, 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 bum. I'm trying to get it side by side for you guys. Right? If you just look at the two. This one's got a fast forward over here. I don't know why. But the combat just looks more fluid in Throne to Liberty, right? I don't think it needs to be the exact same, but an update for ESO for the combat up to here, I think would be better. Do they not show any more combat? Come on, really? Do you know what I mean? Like, it just looks more fluid. I think the worst part of ESO is the combat, but I don't think it's terrible. It's fine. It's fine. It's just fine. Marcus says that happens to me too, except I'm not trying to save the companies. Live service games just take up all my time. Yeah. New combat that is good wouldn't hurt ESO. I would agree that the current combat is fine. Right. But if they did make an improvement to the combat, I don't think it would hurt the game. So what the combat system from which game would Elder Scrolls be using? I'm still trying to understand. It would just be more fluid. It's just stiff. It just seems very stiff, Sarge. Here's the thing. If you never played another MMO and you just played ESO, you wouldn't think there is a problem. It's like watching a 1080p television to a 4K television, right? If you're watching just 1080p, you're like, yeah, looks great. But if you watch 4K TV, you're like, holy shit, how come my TV doesn't look at that, right? That's what it's like for ESO. ESO, it's like, I'm playing the combat. The combat is fine. But if you go play a different game, MMO, and the combat, the melee combat and whatnot is just better, you're looking at that, okay? And then you're like, oh, I get it now. I wish this game had that combat. But really, it isn't a problem. It's a problem for people that play other games and go, man, I really like ESO. I wish it had combat like this. Yeah, but you can have that weighted system. What game does that? Was it... maybe it was Throne and Liberty. Maybe it was like a Diablo or something. When you pick up the hammer, you could feel like the weight. I forget which game it was. I played another game, and I forget what the fuck it was called. But it feels like the weight behind the weapons. Good Papa says, maybe it's just me just be liking Elder Scrolls combat, preferring more weighted system versus a flashy system. Throne and Liberty, though, has a weighted system with the weapons that you use. Oh, Monster Hunter, right? Like, think about this. If Elder Scrolls Online could take a Monster Hunter-esque approach to the combat where you pick up that heavy sword and you're like, and you have that weight behind it, I think that could be cool. Now, obviously, that's a completely different comparison to action, action game compared to. So what you mean impactful because MMO combat is usually all the same? Yeah, it is what it is. It's very like stiff. It gets the job done. Speaking of that, there's gun classes going to Black Desert Online. I'm kind of excited about it. I haven't. We played Black Desert Online a couple years ago. Let me tell you, the community in the Black Desert Online community is very, very, very nice, very knowledgeable. They're happy to help. Because when we played it on the stream, we had people come in and they were just like, "Oh, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to." Very, very helpful. Sort of like people in Fallout 76. Very nice community. At least the people I've interacted with Black Desert Online. All right, so there you go. Elder Scrolls Online. We talked about Battlefront. We got X Defiant. I can't think of any example, but there is some design magic devs do to make it feel like you're actually hitting something. It's better comparison than Thrones and Liberty because how actions are done. Throne and Liberty is a standard of MMO in this combat system, point, click, and use powers. ESO is more of a real-time system. Sure, like in ESO, if you're hitting and your thing is point to the body, you're hitting body. If you're hitting to the head, you're going for the head, right? Like 100%. I'm just saying that it needs to be... If they update it, it wouldn't hurt the system, is what I'm saying, Akuta Papa. But it's also fine. If they don't change it, it's fine. I think people are saying that if it was a better system, they would go back and play that game more over something else because the game is so good. Right? A lot of people don't like ESO because of the combat, not because of the story. The story, the rich lore, all the missions and all the stuff that's going on, the world building and stuff like that is amazing in that game. It's the combat that holds people back. Oh, that's the game I was trying to think of, Eclipse. I think the New World has a better combat system in ESO. Yes, New World. New World's combat, that is the game I was thinking of. I couldn't think of with the weight behind the weapons and stuff like that. Yes, New World, I think, if ESO had New World combat system, I think it would be like chef's kiss. It'd be like the perfect game. It's like you're mixing up something that you're cooking. You're like, it's missing something. ESO is missing that combat, right? Like, you could still serve it. It's still good. See, Akuda Papa says, that I would take. See? See, now, if you could take New World and put it over there, you would play ESO more, right? Sarge says the weight of weapons and the illusion of effects with the weapons and animations. Sure, but it just feels good. It's almost like driving a car in Grand Theft Auto, Sarge. You know, like when you play certain games, they just don't nail the driving because there's no weight. It feels like the car's just like floating. But when you drive cars in Grand Theft Auto, it all depending on what car you have, it has that weight behind it. You don't need to have that, but that weight behind the vehicles makes it that much better. That's why people like driving cars in Grand Theft Auto. It's got that weight. It doesn't feel like an arcadey type of car, right? It feels like it has actual, like, they got this right. That is what ESO is missing for combat. Kyle says, screw ESO. One of the main culprits we haven't gotten to is a single-player Elder Scrolls, I feel. Let it perish. Oh, I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It's two separate companies, Kylo. I think Elder Scrolls 6 obviously is being made. It's not being made by ZeniMax, though. It's being made by Bethesda, right? Elder Scrolls 6 is potentially the problem why there's no... I'm sorry. Elder Scrolls Online is potentially why there's no Elder Scrolls 6, because this keeps making money. But they're winding down because obviously it's 10 years. And how long can you go where you're consistent making money like this for the time that you're putting in? And I think that's why they're kind of moving away from their content, and they're doing those smaller content. But get it out. Yeah, no, I think it's here to stay. We're still going to be talking about Elder Scrolls Online till like another 4 or 5 years. Easy. I'll tell you what, Elder Scrolls 6, I love single-player games, but I would like Elder Scrolls 6 to have co-op. I can come in and just play with one other friend and go around the world. That's all I need. That's what I asked for about Fallout back in the day. I can just have one other person with me, and we just fucking explore the world. I don't need multiplayer. I just need one other person. Co-op. Play a game like that. Where I can be your companion. You can have your companion, but then when I come into the game, I take that spot of your companion, and we fight. That'd be awesome. Don't forget to hit that like button if you're here. We do this Monday through Thursday from 10 o'clock in the morning till noon Eastern. We just cover news stories, have conversation with chat, get you through a couple hours of your day. Waterbear says, Path of Exile 2, when do you plan on playing on stream? I don't know, because on stream, the days that we play, Water, we're playing Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday we play with Sarge. Potentially, once I'm done with Indiana Jones, we could play it on stream. I was thinking of what I was going to do. I was thinking about just recording my gameplay when I'm not on stream. Just record my gameplay and then upload it as an upload for gameplay. Kylo says, I'm fine with co-op. I don't see it happening, though. Just get a PC and wait for the mod to come out. Robert Jones says ESO and that live service games is what they have for you, 30. Well, that's why I like Fallout 76. I like Fallout 76 that I can play with another friend. I can ignore everybody else, right? I can just play with that one other person. Papa says that the guy who did the co-op mods won't be developing it. He's too an amateur to understand what the dev kit is and why it's needed for deepened system work. Some of the Path of Exile 2 death videos are funny. Right now, I'm level 7 or 8 in Path of Exile 2. I'm using a mercenary class. I'm like methodically just clearing all the map and whatnot. I'm in is it Glenwood, Glen Forest? I forget what the area I'm in. One boss fight. I died last night by accident. I got my first kill at level 7, or my first death at level 7. I was playing like an idiot, right? So last night, after I got done streaming, I was like, let me play for a little bit. And I played a little bit, and I was dozing off. I dozed off. You know, it's like playing Grand Theft Auto. You're driving like 100 miles an hour, and then you're like, and then all of a sudden you're like up in a tree, right? That's what happened. That's how I got my first death yesterday. I was like, it's time to go to bed. Time to go to bed. I shouldn't have died. Dustin says Star Wars Galaxy. I recommend looking up videos and guides. It took me a couple of hours to figure out how to play the game. Star Wars Galaxy. You're talking about the old game, Star Wars Galaxies? I'd be like riding a bike for me. Bro, let's put it this way. If 76 has multiplayer, there's a possibility that Elder Scrolls 6 might have the option. But it has to have something special. Otherwise, it's just another mid-game. Betrayed by fatigue. Yeah. I got killed because I dozed off for a split second. Sarge says, what's the hook of Elder Scrolls 6? They need a reason to say, wow, that looks cool. I mean, I think you could play the story. I mean, I don't think they need to give it a reason. The reason is it's Elder Scrolls 6, continuation of the story. Argus says, don't worry, you'll die plenty. Eclipse says, yeah, you have to pay attention all the time. Yeah, I got killed by a bunch of werewolves. Yeah, the aim system is not as fluid on the controller. I don't know. I haven't played on PC, so I don't know how accurate it is with the mouse cursor thing. But the aim system is a little bit, it like auto clicks, and I don't know. I haven't looked into the system settings yet if I can change that. But sometimes when I'm pointing a certain direction, it'll shoot like this way. It'll like automatically like links or locks on to something else sometimes. And I was like, is that me doing that, or is that the system doing that? Robert Jones says, I don't see them adding co-op when they want to direct you to their live service offering. Well, here's the thing. Here's the only reason I can agree with Sarge a little bit, Jones, is that obviously Starfield came out and it's a single player game and it's on Game Pass. But I think Game Pass and the first party studio, since the game of Elder Scrolls 6 was being made, now it's being owned by Microsoft 100% before they started making it, I believe. Okay, because they showed it 6 years ago, but they didn't start making the game yet. But now it's under Microsoft. I think because Starfield was being made before they bought it, right? So that's Bethesda's thing. Now that Microsoft owns an Elder Scrolls 6, I can see them putting some sort of co-op or something. Not only are they going to put it obviously day and date on Game Pass for Elder Scrolls 6, so you'll be paying a monthly fee for that if you're just playing that game. But the live service type of stuff, they could make it where it's co-op because of stuff like that. They know you're going to be playing it if it's on a phone, on a computer, on Game Pass, if you buy it. So they might add co-op. Who knows? I don't think it would really hurt it. But I do agree. They probably won't make it co-op. They probably won't make it co-op. They didn't make Fallout 4 or Fallout, you know what I mean? So I would always like to play a game where I could play with at least one other friend, personally. Kuda Papa says 30 hours on PC. It does not pick up targets well. The dodging has dodged the wrong direction on me several times. Argus says if you hold right stick in a direction while doing the attack, it kind of overrides the auto target. So it does auto target. Is that what happens? It just auto targets? Right. And plus all the games that they have, Jones, right? Starfield, Fallout 76, they all have a microtransaction store, right? They all have the Bethesda store baked in. So that's going to keep people coming back and playing and downloading stuff and whatnot. All right, let's go to the next story. Next story is Sony Corporation announces a business alliance with Kadokawa. Okay. Sony has announced that the formation of a strategic alliance with Kadokawa, taking over 10% of the company's shares. As a result, Sony will become the company's largest shareholder. The transaction, scheduled for January 7th, will cost Sony approximately $320 million. This is very interesting. Okay, this is very interesting because everyone's like, Sony's buying them. Sony's buying them, buying them, buying them, buying them. I think Sony looked at it and said, well, if we buy them, we're going to have a lot of problems. We're gonna have a lot of problems because we already own a lot of the anime stuff. And if we buy this, then we're going to have a monopoly. But maybe we'll just stop it. Maybe it was a problem because maybe they couldn't afford it. Right? Maybe they couldn't afford it. Maybe they couldn't justify buying it. Maybe they didn't want the headaches. Again, I'm speculating here. I'm just giving you my thoughts. Right? Maybe they didn't want the headache that Microsoft got for buying Activision Blizzard, right? Having that type of problem, right? Maybe they just said, you know what? Let's just have the majority of shares. Then we have control of the company. We can lean it towards our direction, but we actually don't own the company. Interesting. So it says, what about the acquisition? According to the statement, Sony Group does not intend to acquire any more shares after this move, which indicates that the Japanese company has given up on the acquiring the conglomerate, at least for now. I wonder, again, was it just too much for them? Was the price of this too much for them? Was the value of the anime, was the value of FromSoft just too much for Sony to go, yeah, you know what, let's buy it and we make it? Because let me tell you something. It would be a dumb idea if they bought the company and then made it exclusive for just PlayStation. Okay. Give me 1 second. Someone's at my door. So, the strategic alliance will also strengthen the two companies' IPs. The two companies will also sit down in the future to discuss the production of live-action adaptations of prominent IPs, co-produced anime, and expand the distribution of Kadokawa anime globally in the games. Sony has also become a publisher for some of their games. FromSoft's next original IP could become a Sony second-party game, for example. Let's see. Through its capital and business alliance, it also becomes a largest shareholder of Kadokawa, which is also constantly creates a wide variety of IP, including the publication and books, such as light novels, comics, and also well as the games and the anime. By combining it, the extensive IP and IP creation ecosystem with the strengths of Sony, which is also as prominent to the global expansion of the wide range of entertainment, including anime and games, we plan to work closely together to realize Kadokawa's global media mix strategy, anime and maxing out the value of IP and Sony's long-term vision, creative entertainment, and vision. Okay. The move also helps protect Kadokawa from acquisitions by other companies. The company attempting to hostile takeover will need Sony to agree to sell its shares, which makes it a process more difficult and expensive. What do you think about Sony's forming a business alliance? I think it's a smart move, right? Sony's always done this, where Sony has never kind of they don't buy the companies. They just give them enough money to get the exclusive for a couple months, a couple years. But they don't invest entirely buying the company, right? So the way I could think of it is, if you're a landowner, okay, and there's a giant piece of land that the property wants to, a real estate agent wants to buy to put houses there, but you don't want to sell, right? So you own just enough where they would have to give you a well-earned amount of money before they can build on that property, right? So you have like an insurance policy. So Sony said, well, we don't need to spend this much money. We just need to spend this much, $320 million, to get the majority share to kind of make an insurance policy of if anybody else wants to come in, we're going to get paid and we're kind of safe and we have a say in what's happening here. The other side, you can look at it and say that Sony doesn't have enough money, right? They just looked at it and said, that's going to be way too much money to buy. If they're doing $320 million just for 10%, that's a lot of money, right? $320 million for 10%. So obviously it would be like, what, $3 billion, right? Figuratively, like $3.2 billion. If they bought for 10% of the stocks, the highest at 320 mil, it would cost them $3 billion. Or am I off decimal? It'll be $30 billion. Regardless, it's a lot of fucking money, and I don't think Sony could afford it. And this is why the second best option. They're just like, we don't need to buy it. We can just have majority shareholders, and then we get to say what they want to say. Plus, I think if they did purchase it, people would have a heyday of going, no, this is a monopoly on the anime, blah, blah, blah. But now they only own 10%. They have the most shares, and they can do what they want as far as saying, hey, we can take all these stuff and move over. Now, as far as the IP thing goes, I think this is also a smart move for Sony because they actually said just a couple months ago they don't have enough IPs. Well, obviously, these are not their IPs, but they can use these IPs to, strengthen their platform for not just Sony PlayStation, but Sony just movies, television shows, and all these other things by making other stuff and still making money off of these things without investing a much larger chunk of change. These are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments section down below. What do you think about Sony not purchasing it, but putting a large chunk of money in for the majority of shareholder? Let me know in the comment section down below. Please make sure you share, like, subscribe, and if you like what I do here, check out some of our other videos. Thanks for watching. Oh, says Sony's broke. Sarge says Activision Blizzard is not a headache; it's a tumor. Papa says I would say lack of money. Robert Jones says rumors of them buying were just rumors, right? No, they were. There was a majority of them saying they were acquiring. They were acquiring them, but obviously, there you go. Didn't happen. Why buy the cow when you get consume the milk for free? Right. It's a smart business move. Why pay potentially $30 billion when you can pay $320 million? Or I'm sorry, $3 billion when you can pay $320 million. Private House says, Mike, I really hope that Superman movie is amazing because that suit still looks trash. I'm not going to comment, Crowded. We're trying something a little different here. We made a goal. If we get 5 super chats at any level, I will watch the trailer on stream and then I will comment on it because I'm gonna get hit with it if we show the stream, if we show it on stream. Mo says boot on next season in full effect. If you build it, it will come to Game Pass. Robert Jones says they wanted to buy, but Bungie and Concord put the whole hole in their pockets. Ain't that the truth? They overpaid for Bungie. Bungie wanted $7 billion. $7 billion. They paid 3.2 or something like that. 2.7, 3.2. And then Concord, they sunk in about $400 million. Think about that for a second. They sunk in $400 million towards Concord, and they paid $320 million just for a small share, which is a majority share, but 10% shares to control for this. Robert Jones says Last of Us, Horizon, Destiny might all get Magna or anime. Oh, absolutely. 100%. I think that's the long-term goal for them. Okoki says it seems that Sony might be learning from the past mistakes, over-investing and overextending. Yeah, 100%. Adapting, which you should do. Bo says, but they couldn't buy the cow. That's why. Talking about Concord, Has anyone seen Concord episode in the Amazon? I haven't watched the secret levels at all yet. I'll turn. Where's the member button? If you go down to the description down below, Crowded, if you're on mobile, there's a little link that you can click, and it'll open up and say open up in the browser, and then you can use that. Oh, and the goal is for super chats, not for members, by the way. But you're more than welcome to hit the member button. Argus says Kadokawa would have been a better purchase than either of those companies. Sure, but I don't think they could afford them. There was just a report that Elden Ring surpassed, 28 million copies sold total? 28 million copies sold, which combined of all the Dark Souls, if I'm not mistaken? All combined over the entire series, this one single-handedly made more sales just in this one game, right? That's not including the DLC. That's just the main game. Robert Jones said also it could be looked at closer at the finances of the company and didn't like it. Well, I bet you that Kadokawa is in a much better position than Sony is right now with their financials. If I had to look at their books, I would probably look at it and go, well, Kadokawa's got much more non-problems as Sony. Sony has issues, and they have to fix those, which I think they are. Now, I know people are looking at it, and they'll take that moment and be like, Sony's fine. I'm not talking about Sony PlayStation. I'm talking about Sony, the company itself, not Sony PlayStation, right? I'm talking about Sony, the company, not Sony PlayStation. Flip says, this is what happens when you stick with the formula and you make it a masterpiece. Jones says, Kadokawa doesn't want to get bought for no reason. I don't know why they would sell, right? Right now, they should be very profitable with what they have going on. Good Papa says, the board isn't happy about this year at Sony. You can tell you that much. Yeah, what I'm saying is, if Sony's doing really well, let's just say game-wise, they're not doing very well entertainment-wise and movie-wise. You see what I'm saying? Like this year, they might have had some good stuff down the pipeline with Astrobot and other things, but overall, the company itself is probably not having a great year. Okoki says, not necessarily for the Superman trailer, but because of consistent, honest, quality content and rare and appreciated. Well, thank you very much for the $4.99 super chat. I appreciate that very much. Thank you very much for the support. Kuda Papa says, even game-wise this year, it's been negative. Concord made sure. Yeah, well, I also don't want to look at just one game, though, right, Kuda Papa? Like, my example of if the movie industry has 10 movies come out, three make money, 7 lose money, right? Concord is just that one that's losing money, which is fine. Now, obviously, the game industry is different than the movie industry, but what I'm saying is not everything can always be a home run. Not everything can be a blockbuster hit and stuff like that. So it's okay to have that one, for this year's Concord, we had last year's Redfall. You know what I mean? Each company has a skid mark on their record. I mean, you could still play Redfall. You can still play Redfall. You can't play Concord. Robert Jones says the Q4 report should be available soon. Name one AAA company that is having a good year. They're all in trouble. Crowded says, I heard that Concord episode of Secret Level is actually good. But here's the problem, though, House. They put the pressure on the game before the game even came out. They're like, oh, Concord could be the next Star Wars, could be the next Lord of the Rings. It's like, you don't get to say that, right? Like, if you make a product, you got to make the product, and the customers will tell you if it's the next Star Wars, if it's the next Star Trek, if it's the next big IP, right? Studios don't tell you if it's the next big IP. They put something out there and go, holy shit, this is selling. Maybe we should capitalize on this, right? Jason says, I heard the Wukong money made up for a lot of the Concord losses. But Wukong's not owned by Sony. You're talking about the 30% they make made up for the $400 million loss? Jason? I don't understand a statement like that, though. Right? Wukong is not owned by them. Apparently the characters in the show are way more likable and interesting. Well, imagine if they came out with that before the actual game came out and led into it. Argus says AA is where it's at. That's where people should be investing right now. Like, where would that statement come from? I heard Wukong made money. Show me where that's said, Jason. Who said that? I just think it's funny that they tried to make Concord the next big franchise before it even came out, which is just silly. Let me see what other else things going on. We have X Defiant talking point here about their releasing all the rest of the season type stuff. Helldivers 2 giving away second Killzone set of free after fan backlash over $20 price. Oh, what happened there? Oh, we'll have to read that in a second. I know you guys were saying something about that in the chat. Papa says, what's going on right now with Sony heavily reminds me of when they almost had to file bankruptcy in 2014, 2016. I don't want them to fail, but I also keep a dumb decision. I don't get that same feeling as you, Akuta Papa, as what happened in 2012 to 2014. I thought it was 2012 to 2014, not 2014 to 2016. Eclipse says, do you know what would have made money? Is that if they wrote it as a tax write-off like Sega did for Hyenas. Well, they probably did. They probably did do a tax write-off. That's why they closed it down super fast before the quarter and everything ended. They're like, oh, let's just write that off. I don't know that for a fact, but that's what it seems like they did. I'm still reeling over all the cut scenes that made that world we'll never see. What a mess. I mean, they could put them together and put them on, they could take the story that they were supposed to be told for Concord after week after week after week after week or month after month, and they could put that somewhere and sell it. Maybe they could turn it into, you know what I mean? They could do something with it if they wanted to. Roic says Sony tried to count the chickens before they hatched, and all they got was scrambled eggs. Take Sony out of the equation, though, right? Any company that's trying to make a brand new IP and think it's going to be one of the best IPs ever is just silly, right? It's just silly. You can't say that. Take Concord out of the equation. Like anything. Take Helldivers, right? To be like Helldivers is going to be the next Star Wars. Like, you don't get to the choice, right? The companies don't get to choose what's going to be popular or not popular. The customers are what take a brand, take an IP, and then make that IP valuable. The companies don't make it valuable. We make it valuable. They make the stories, they tell the stories, they make the games, they make the books, they make the movies, and then we, the people, get to decide if that is worthy of our money. And if it's worth our money, then the company goes, they like this, let's make more of this. Okay? They don't get to tell you that this is the next Star Wars. Fuck you. We'll tell you if it's the next Star Wars. But they were correct. Concord was the next Star Wars. Just the wrong Star Wars. It was Disney Star Wars, not Lucas Star Wars. Robert Jones says, Rip X Defiant, I heard they fixed the netcode. Did they? Did they? I don't remember hearing that. No. No. Nothing's fixed. Crypto says if they had faith in Concord, they would have launched in 2 weeks before Astrobot. True? Or wouldn't have. I know what you meant. Yeah. They wanted Star Wars. They should have specifically specified which one. Yeah, they got Star Wars. They just got the wrong Star Wars. It's claimed. It's claimed. Yeah, give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. Naughty Dog's new game is positioning for the same thing as Concord, in my opinion. You talk about the Neil Druckmann one, the Intergalactic. Is that what it's called? I don't know. I think it's way too early to tell what the fuck that game is. We literally saw a trailer. A trailer of a game. We have no idea what that game is. Supposedly, the leaks of the whole story leaked or whatnot. You gotta take it with a grain of salt, whatever it is. It might 100% all be true. It might be all be bullshit. But we don't know anything about that game. Nothing about that game. Crowd says, Mike, have you tried the Outlaws update? Fuck no. I'm not going to pay another $18 to try the update. I will try that game again, Crowded, when all the expansions come out sometime this time next year. Okay? I will pay $18 to complete the expansion passes, or I'll wait for it's on a dramatic sale next Black Friday and pick it up for like $10 and then get the whole game. If they want me to play the game, they should have had that game complete at launch. Fuck them. Fuck Ubisoft. Fuck any company that tries to come out with a game incomplete and wants $130 for the entire fucking thing. They got $18 from me, and that's all they get until the game is complete. That's their fault, not mine. Krebsy says COD's netcode is also shit currently and has the annual budget of $300 million. Nice. Huda Papa says, oh yeah, I'm just reading how it's also being announced and other stuff. I'm like, I mean, obviously, there could be, there could be smoke, there could be fire. Where there's smoke, there's fire. But we know nothing about that game yet. Altern says Sony board must have been Jim Ryan. You promised us Star Wars. Jim be like, I did. You wanted Star Wars. I provided you with Star Wars Acolyte. Isn't that what you wanted? Brown says Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, is probably the worst title for the game I've ever heard. Just saying. Kudapapa says, how much do you want to bet it's in the Concord universe and they changed the name after release? No. You think so? I think that might be a little bit of a stretch. But why not? I don't think they're bashing it because of that, Nate. I think they're bashing it because of the track record of Neil Druckmann and what he's done. What's going on, Maloney? I'm late to this conversation. What's up with the news? Right now, we're talking about Sony, Kadokawa, and we kind of like morphed it into like the Concord conversation or whatnot. We're talking about Sony didn't purchase Kadokawa, which was the people that make Elden Ring and people that make they own FromSoft. They also own one of the largest anime collections or IPs type stuff. Sony was supposed to buy them, but they didn't buy them. They paid $320 million to basically own 10% of the company and team up with them for the IPs and stuff. That's the last story we talked about. We went over Destiny inside of Minecraft. Minecraft fan made a Destiny 2, basically like partial of the game inside of Minecraft, which is pretty cool. What else did we talk about? A couple other things. Can't remember. People are already making a stink about the actress because she's a big IP activist. Here's the thing, right? What someone does, and this is the way I look at stuff, right? This is the way I look at stuff. Just because someone is an activist doesn't mean that they're bleeding over into their thing. Believe what you want to believe, right? Do what you want to do. Now, obviously, again, if there's smoke, could there be fire? Sure. Okay. But I think everyone's, again, they could be 100% correct. I just think everyone's jumping on the bandwagon way too fast on stuff like this. I like to see what things speak for themselves. When you start showing me gameplay and you start showing me more things than what the trailer was, okay, then we can start making those assumptions and going, yeah, right? Before that, it's just, you're assuming a lot of things based off of just a trailer. Just off a trailer. It's not a movie. This is a video game. It's different to look at a movie trailer and go, that movie's not going to look good. We have no idea what this game is. Right? Look at Beyond Good and Evil 2, what they showed us. Right? We have no idea. We thought we knew what that game was. They don't even know what that game is. Right? There's a long part from where they show us a trailer to what the game comes out for us to start freaking out about something. Hence why I don't cover stuff like that, right? Not that I don't agree or disagree or whatever it is. I just look at it and go, is it worth talking about? Is it worth getting upset about? I'd rather talk about something else. I'd rather talk about Destiny 2 Minecraft than talk about what they're talking about. Because it's so far off and nothing's there. It's a nothing burger right now. Krebsy says, so Halo only being a Halo ring makes it not space sci-fi game? It's a reasonable take. I mean, I think so. I mean, like I said, I'm not saying that people are wrong. I'm just saying, why get upset about it when it's not... Like, when we see more information, then you're like, oh, yeah, they were right, 100%. But hindsight's 2020. We don't know what it is until they show us more about it. Jason says, the main character comes off super obnoxious and visuals, she's unappealing. If it's Naughty Dog, so that's enough for me to pass on it. Sure. And I totally get that, Jason. But one doesn't mean the other until they show more, is what I'm saying. They haven't shown us enough, right? That's like them showing an Elder Scrolls 6 title and being like, I don't know if I'm going to like Elder Scrolls 6. Be like, all they did was show us the title. Like, yeah, but did you hear about what's happening with the activists? That's we know nothing about the game. Nothing. We know nothing about the game. What's wrong with Neil? He tells great stories. Well, it goes deeper than that, Mo. It goes back to Gamergate back in, was it 2012? Right? 2014. With him and Sarkeesian. His thought process of certain things. And look, I totally get it. If people don't agree with his take or what his story is. Look, at the end of the day, regardless of what people believe or what they say, doesn't matter. What matters is, do you want to spend your money on that product? Do you want to pull your wallet out and spend money on that product? It's very simple. And if the answer is no, you're not in the wrong for not supporting a company that you don't want to support. Or if you don't want to support a game that you don't think is good or is going to be a certain way. That's the beautiful part about being a customer, right? Just because you make something doesn't mean I have to give you money for it. The Fifth Horseman says, I think they will make more money by putting that sword from the trailer in another game as a microtransaction than they will in the game. Crowded says, ever since I first saw Abby and her bowling ball shoulders, it took me out of the guy's stories. I don't like Neil Druckmann. And that's perfectly fine, right? It doesn't make you wrong that because of Neil Druckmann, because of the activist person that might be an activist in the actual game, that you don't like the actress, if you don't like the way they look, if you don't like the game, if you don't like... There's nothing wrong with any of those things if you don't want to take your money and pay for that thing. Barbear says, I gotta love the overreaction from everyone when they see a freaking trailer for a game that might actually be good. Or it might not even come out. How many trailers have we seen, Water? Like, actual trailers that we've seen that we've never actually seen the game. Like, the game doesn't even come out. Now, obviously, it's Naughty Dog's next thing. It's a big IP. That's a brand new IP. But we're talking, like, what, 4 years? 5 years from now? It's not coming out next year. It's not coming out in 2026. Mo says, I have no idea what it is, Mike. BS. Seriously. No BS. I seriously don't know what Gamergate is. Don't worry about it, Mo. Don't worry about it. I mean, I like the Uncharted series, right? Naughty Dog made the Uncharted series. I love the Uncharted series. Right? I played The Last of Us 1 about halfway through, and then my son was born or whatever, and I didn't finish it, so I watched Carnage play it, right? I didn't care about Last of Us 2, personally. I just lost interest in it, right? So I love the Uncharted, right? I'm fine with if Neil Druckmann's the director and he puts certain things in the game and then I look at that and go, I don't like it, right? Then I don't buy his next game. But I do know that I liked Naughty Dog's of Uncharted series. I didn't buy the last Uncharted where they went with the Uncharted, what was it, Legacy? No, what was it What was the last Uncharted called? Because I was a fan of the main character, and he wasn't in it. Robert Jones says, I can understand preferring to see a white man, but a chick ain't ugly. I don't see all the hate because of the character, right? When you start, again, I always use the analogy, right? Your grass is in mint condition until you get down and start looking for stuff. If you start looking down the rabbit hole, okay, and looking at stuff, you could always nitpick on stuff. You know what I mean? Lost Legacy. Okay. I didn't play that one. Come on, Jax. Like, I'll talk about stories and news when it's actually news and stories to talk about. Like, if 3 years from now I'm still streaming and a conversation comes up about Intergalactic and we start talking and seeing stuff and we're like, well, someone will come in and be like, see, I told you 33 years ago, I told you it was going to be this way. And you would be 100% correct. But at the same time, I would also be correct because we didn't know what we know 3 years ago, which is today. In the future, we're like, man, it is what you said. Okay? Because we didn't know then. You could assume, and you could be right. Right? That's basically my whole channel. I say stuff that I assume, and then it happens. I'm like, see, I told you. Right? And I totally get that. But I'm not gonna sit here and have a conversation about, well, it's 100% going to be rogue. Just look at it. Like, okay. All right, so let me read this. Helldivers 2 giving away second Killzone set for free after fan backlash over $20 price. So, Sony decided to set the price, or was that Helldivers that decided to sell the price? Which one was it? Did Sony license the Killzone thing to make for Helldivers, and Helldivers has to charge $20 to make the cut back to Sony? Like, why is it $20? Let me read on, because I know nothing about this. So yesterday, Helldivers has officially revealed its first crossover skins collaboration, Killzone 2, but players immediately balked at the $20 price tag. And now the sci-fi shooter developers are trying to put down the fan rebellion with a holiday freebie. But they didn't cross it out and say, well, originally it was 40, but now it's 20. They didn't do that? They didn't do that? Arrowhead said that they set the prices. So then my question, Krebsy, is this a tax? Is this a tax because it's an IP that Sony owns? And they're like, yeah, we love to do that. And Sony's like, well, you got to charge because we're charging every little bit from you, right? Even though that Sony owns that Helldivers IP. Okay. So it says the inspired Killzone sets are $20 a piece, more than anything else currently in the paid-for game. While Arrowhead Game Studio won't confirm the future collaborations will be priced lower than that, it's given away a second set of crossover to try to win back the fans heading into the end of the year break. Now, wouldn't it have been easier? Wouldn't it have been easier instead of charging $20 for a fucking thing? They could charge 10. They could have charged 10, and then people would have picked up the 10 and 10, and they would have made their 20. But instead, now they're giving away a free Killzone 1 to make up for the $20 one. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you see how greedy these people are? Eclipse says, what do you know? Arrowhead takes the blame because they always do. Yeah, because it's never, remember, Eclipse, it's never Sony's fault. It's never Sony's fault. Sony is the Bungie, okay, of the console realm. Okay, it's never ever Sony's fault. It's always everyone else's fault. Okay, no, they didn't go third party. It's these guys. Oh no, they didn't do this. It's those guys. No. It's MLB. MLB did this. No. Lego did this, or it's never Sony. Sony has no say. They're the #1 console maker. They're the leader of the industry, but they have no say in things. It's always the other people's thing. Stick with it, right? Okay. So there you go. That's what the crossover skin looks like. Let's get it close to it. There you go. Available Superstore. I mean, all you gotta do is just say it was $20 or it was $40. You cross it out, just like they do in Marvel Rivals. Cross it out. Say 20. We're giving it to you for 50% off. Right? 50% off. People will be like, oh, all right, well then I'll buy that. Firstly, we're gifting to everyone the plain second wave of Helldivers X Killzone collaboration item today, free of charge. The devs wrote in a new blog post, the distribution of those items will begin shortly in 2 waves. As such, we'll also be going to extend the duration of items currently in the Superstore from 5 days to 10 days so that you have a chance to get a hold of it and reduce the risk of missing out. Missing out on the $20. At the issue of the fact that Helldivers 2 is a $40 game charging free-to-play prices for new skins as part of the potential slippery slope. Expanding post-launch monetization strategy, Arrowhead CEO made the argument that premium sets like Killzone Collaboration are how the company can afford to keep major updates like the recent introduction of the Illuminati Enemies faction completely free. Well, that's crazy. That's crazy. Let's do the math, shall we? Let's just do basic general math. Okay? The company who only thought they were going to get 100,000 concurrent. Let me look up something real fast. Let me look up something really fast. Okay, let me see. Okay. They only wanted and thought they were getting 100,000 people concurrent. They got 458,000 concurrent. We know they sold over 8 million copies of the game. Okay? At $40 a piece. Okay? We know that they charge $10 for the in-game, battle passes that people buy. Okay? The game costs $40, right? But at the same time, to keep the company alive, to maintain the live service game that they have to charge $20 for skins. So what happened to all the money they made? Because they only wanted 100,000 concurrent, but they got almost 500,000 concurrent. Okay. And at one point, it was like a 60-40 player base off of Steam and PlayStation. So make it make sense for me. Make the math make sense for me. If we were only expecting to make, let's say, 400 million, but we ended up making 1.5 billion. Tell me how you need $20 skins to keep your studio alive. Please make it make sense. Make it make sense. I need it to make sense. Okay? But many players felt like it was a crossing the line out of the step with the game's previous pattern of releasing new items as unlockable in a $10 battle pass, which is also plenty paid, with the currency slowly accumulating in-game. And the fact that Killzone set the originally supposed to be part of the war bonds, but the studio decided against that over concerns about backlash to some of you are not happy with the prices of the items that also revisited with the company's response to the latest update. Now, in addition to the lengthy stay of the new crossover items in the shop monthly rotation, it sounds like Arrowhead is also looking at a way to have a secondary shop of items that never changes so that the latecomers always have a chance to buy more lightly, right? You got to double down. You got to triple down. You got to quadruple down. You got to quadruple. Some fans worry that this is the latest incoming encroachment due to publishers Sony middling. Nope, it's not Sony. Never Sony's problem. But CEO said that Helldivers 2 Discord that it wasn't that case. It's the partnership that we also the driving seat behind the decisions. He wrote, "This one is on us." Okay, take it. It's never. It doesn't matter if you asked for it or not. Sony never does it. Sony doesn't do anything wrong. Sony is perfect. I don't have that one. I don't have the. Do I have the perfect one? I do not have the perfect one. I do not have the perfect one loaded into our thing. Akuta Papa says the money went into Concord. The money went into Concord. Thank you much for the $2 super chat. The clip says it's the #1 selling on Steam now again. They need the $20, Eclipse. They have to charge the $20 because that's how they keep the lights on. What did they do with all the money they made? Because they didn't think they were going to make all that money. So, did someone rob them? Did somebody take all that money from them? Altern says, not math. Gamers' biggest fear. Argus said, well, you technically compete with the other players with kills and all the stats. So in the semblance, it can be seen as pay to win to buy better guns. I'm just saying. We're not going down that rabbit hole. We're not going down that rabbit hole, Argus. We already talked about, is it pay to win early on? Okay, I think me and Kingard went back and forth earlier this year if it's pay to win or not. Papa Sony needs that Concord money back, right? They're like, hey guys, you guys made a shit ton of money with Helldivers. Gotta wait a couple of months before we pay you out. It's like 4 months before you can pay you out. Okay? They're like, hey, we're paying Helldivers out. Oh, what happened? Oh, Concord bombed. I'm gonna need that back. Yeah, here you go. Make sure you charge $20 and make sure it's not by us. Okay? All right, thanks. You know what they say? Deny, deny, deny. Deny, deny, deny. Robert Jones says they like those profits. We're profits, not part of our budget. Argus says, Robert Jones, you ain't wrong there. But the woman, at least on average face, definitely gets bonus points for me. The longer, the more points down at least the bottom. Buddha Papa says 30. Bungie is slowly infecting Sony, and it isn't the studio. No, they're like, wait, Bungie got away with this for years. It was never Bungie's fault. We could just do that. Look, all I'm saying is Helldivers, all they have to do is put... They say it's 20. They just cross out what it was before, right? It was going to be called $30, but they crossed it out and said, oh, we're giving you a percentage off. It's $20. I will never get over the fact that the game costs $40. The game costs $40. But the one skin costs $20. Fucking amazing. Fucking amazing. Speaking, X-Defiant, final X-Defiant update features content from 5 planned seasons. Okay. So X-Defiant is preparing for the ultimate wind down ahead of its inevitable closure in just a few months. It was recently confirmed that Ubisoft and X-Defiant will be taken offline on June 3rd, 2025. But before then, the team has pushed out the final patch that includes this staggering amount of content. Per the patch notes, they confirmed that Mark Rubin on Twitter, the Season 3 update X-Defiant includes additional content from the next 5 seasons, which will also otherwise never see the light of day. Okay? Imagine that. Imagine the stuff that they worked on. They're like, we got to get this out the door. Right? We got to make money on this stuff. Okay? Last hurrah. Okay, Ubisoft has not only allowed a small team to stay on to continue working on the Season 3 content out the door, but it's also been able to add some extra content to the release for the future seasons. So we have our Season 3 content plus some of the content from Season 4, 5, 6, 7, and then even Season 8. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. They already had 8 seasons of microtransactions done. Right? Does anybody else hear this? Right? They already had 8 seasons of content made for the game that they're just drip feeding. Right? If the game was open. We're adding 3 new factions this patch with the Assassins, of course, also planned for Season 3, but also the Wolves of Omega Force in Season 4 and 5, respectively. Along with the new factions, some 6 new arena maps and 3 new linear maps that are also planned to be released further down the line. That's a total of 13 new maps, but if you never downloaded XDefiant, you'll not be able to access them, which makes them somewhat rare. This includes a new Raymond map, okay, but it's also scheduled for a takeover event midway through Season 4. All Season 3 marks an arrival of more esports-focused mode, Diffuse, and this is a traditional one-life bomb mode that serves as the foundation for games like Rainbow Six Siege and Counter-Strike 2. Those still playing will also have access to Lum Hunt, Tilt Turbo XD, and Versus Bots mode. This is all in addition to new weapons such as, well, obviously you got to put a bot mode in there because the game will be done and you won't be able to play it with anybody anymore, right? This is in addition to new weapons such as the G36K, the M1A, and the Dice Rose pistol. Everything that is also added behind the Battle Pass that has been unlocked for an audience still able to access the game. It's one hell of an update, but the farewell patch at the best of XDefiant, right? So they're giving you the stuff, but I just think it's funny that, see, they do have this content already done. And they're like, let's put it out there. Let's put it out there. Are they still going to charge stuff? Or are they putting everything is free now in XDefiant, right? Everything's free in XDefiant now? Altern says, Helldivers already blamed Sony once. They can't use the same card again. They're like, yeah, you guys blamed us last time for the sign-in stuff. Okay? You got to take this one. We can't afford to take the criticism again. Isn't it awesome that there's companies like GGG that you have to buy early access, but you get the same amount of currency in game, so you're pretty much just buying the currency. Right. Well, what that does, Eclipse, is that you're not really buying the game. You're buying the currency. You're going to spend that currency in the shop. And once you spend that money in the shop, then you'll be more willing to spend more money in that shop down the line because the game itself is a good game and because it's promoting the game as a good game. And you're like, I had fun. I had currency. That wasn't that bad. You know what I'm saying? That's what they do. It's worth giving the free sample, basically, right? Not really free sample because you can look at it 2 ways. You're either paying for the game to access the game or you're paying for the game to get the currency, right? Either way, they're giving it to you at a, they're giving something away for free. If they're giving you the game or they're giving you the access to the game, you're like, oh, well, this game is really good, so I'm going to be more inclined to do it down the road. Nate says it's free to play. What's the problem? Marvel Rivals stuff isn't cheap, but because everyone loves it, so it's okay. No, Nate. See, I'm consistent across the board, no matter what. Right? I am 1,000% across the board. Microtransactions should not be as much as they are. I made fun of Marvel Rivals, and I love Marvel Rivals. I think there's egregious of what they charge for it, right? But they have that. They cross it out. They're like, it was $25, and now it's only $16. Okay, right? I can only speak for myself, and I'm consistent across the board, okay? Microtransactions shouldn't cost $20. They shouldn't cost $15. At max, $10. And that's for, some, super, awesome-looking outfit, okay? Because you're going to sell millions and millions of this. Pirate Software has talked about this. The mount in World of Warcraft sold more than StarCraft combined. Okay, one mount. Okay. Microtransactions are way too much, and I'm consistently saying that. Jason says, speaking of rivals, I got 3 MVPs with Hulk yesterday. Starting to get the hang of it. Nice. Altern says, I thought $20 for an in-game skin bundle was reasonable pricing. Right. Imagine that, right? Altern, one person says that Marvel Rivals, it's good, $16 to $25. So that's reasonable. But then they're complaining about a $20 skin from Helldivers 2. Waterbear, I blame Bethesda for all of this. So it's back to the beginning. But Bethesda wasn't the one that made the horse armor wasn't the first one. Wasn't it? What was the? Was it Stardew? It wasn't Stardew Valley. What was the first one that charged? It was a small game that had microtransactions before. The fuck was it? Bethesda was just the one that was underneath the microscope with the horse armor. Everyone thinks it's the horse armor, but it's not the horse armor. If a battle pass costs 10, how the fuck does a skin cost 20? I don't know. You make Robert, make it make sense to me. Make it Maple Story. That's it. Thank you. Didn't they have loot boxes that you could never ever? Weren't they under a lawsuit or something? And by the way, I want to make sure that you guys hear me out nice and clear. I make fun of Sony just like I make fun of Xbox, just like I make fun of fucking Nintendo, just like I make fun of anybody else that has stupid things that no one blames them for because they think that the corporate overlords care for those people. Okay? It's never ever. It's just funny. It's never ever Sony's problem when stuff comes awry. They're like, no. Always. Bungie had this, and everyone defended Bungie for years. They defended Bungie. No, the microtransaction store. That's not because of Bungie. That's because of Activision Blizzard. No. It's because of Microsoft. No. It's because you just don't understand. Hey, it's never. Krebsy says, you do. Wish others would do the same. I don't give a shit what others do. I know what I do. And I'm consistent. People come in and tell me I talk shit about Sony. Or I talk shit about other things. I talk shit about all things. All I want is a complete fucking game. Make a game, sell a game. I don't give a shit who you like or don't like, okay? All I want is a product that's done and working. Argus says, Sony had 2 of the worst gaming company acquisitions in all recent memory, but apparently it's not their fault. Those companies' fault. Of course. Here's the best part, right? Look at what they blame. In another comparison, Redfall was a failure because of Microsoft. Even though it's been on the books, that Redfall was what Redfall is before Microsoft bought them. So much so that Redfall wanted Microsoft to go, please, don't let us work on Redfall. They're like, no, hands off. You keep working on it. But it's Microsoft's problem. Now, if it was on the other foot, if Bethesda was bought by Sony, okay, no one would blame Sony. It'd be, well, ZeniMax and Redfall, Arcane Studio, they're the ones that fucked it up. But it's Microsoft's fault over here. It wouldn't be Microsoft, or it wouldn't be Sony's problem if they bought the company. And you know that's true. Clip says, yeah, I'm the same way. I just want a good game. The only reason why I give Sony so much crap is because they're so anti-consumer, just like Apple. Yeah. Look, I give criticism because I'm passionate about what I like, okay? If I like your game and it comes out broke, buggy, I'm going to be disappointed. I'm going to tell you why I'm disappointed in your game. Right? I'm not disappointed in your game because of the narrative. Okay? I'm disappointed in your game because it doesn't fucking work. I'm disappointed in your game that it's going to be fixed over the next 3 to 6 to 8 months. That's why I'm disappointed in your game. I can even look around. Right? I can bite off the fat, right? Cut off the fat and eat what I think is good. And go, hey, you know what? I had a pretty good time. But it doesn't make the fact that the steak that I was eating had a lot of fat on it that I had to cut off and whatnot to get to it. Okay? And this steak was really good. It just had a lot of fat on it. Wow, did you hate the steak? Well, no, the steak that I ate was good, but it had a lot of fucking fat on there. Okay? Now someone's going to be like, I like eating the fat. Mo says that part. What part? The part where I said that if it was on the other studio, Redfall, Arcane, and ZeniMax would be 1,000% the problem. It wouldn't be Sony. How do you do it with Bungie? Bungie never took blame, and Sony never takes blame, and they join forces. Whose fault is it? We all know whose fault it was. It was finally Bungie's fault. Argus says, I don't like a singular bite of fat on my steak. Butter tastes good. It does taste good. All right, let me see if we have anything else to talk about. Look inside the Discord here. We got a show tonight. Generation X Gaming, the weekly podcast, goes over a few of the top stories in the past week. So we'll talk about other news stories and stuff that I didn't cover. We'll rehash some of the news stories that we also covered on the show this week. Let me see. Do we have anything else here? We're not ending the show yet. We're not ending the show yet. The fuck is that? Oh, it's over. Oh, it's over.
Toyota took on the extremely crucial challenge.
You guys see this? It's over. We're going to have a whole basketball league. We're going to have a whole basketball league of this. Hold on a second. Did you guys see this?
This is Q, the robot that broke the world record for the furthest basketball shot by a humanoid robot. In 2017, a team of engineers at Toyota took on the extremely
2017
crucial challenge of building a robot with the precision and adaptability to shoot a basketball from really, really far away. They iterated from a Lego demo to a large humanoid robot that holds multiple world records, including most free throws made, after it sunk 2,020 free throws. It uses machine learning to simulate shots in
Man, Shaquille O'Neal's probably like going, motherfucker, this thing can shoot better than me.
real time, making tweaks as it goes to make a perfect shot. But it isn't just smart. Q can also move around on wheels, pick up its own basketball, and most impressively, dribble. This is Q.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in trouble. The lack of GTA 6 news is frustrating fans. Well, they didn't look at the thing. I mean, when they look at a picture like this, here, let me see if they have the picture, right? Like this picture right here. Can I get the picture? Yeah. This is what GTA fans do. You ready? GTA fans. This is how they interact with content from GTA. Are you ready? They look at this and they're like, well, did you see how she was standing? And this looks like she's making the number 5. Right? Like if you look at this part here, this could be like the top of the 5, and this is like the bottom, right? So it's coming out the 5th month of 2025. Right? Like that's what they do, right? And then they're like upset when they're like, there's no news about Grand Theft Auto. No, there's been no news about Grand Theft Auto. You have made up all of the Grand Theft Auto news because you're looking for anything. You'd be like, look, did you see the guy drinking the daiquiri in the background? Daiquiri starts with D. D stands for, it's like, D is the, like, what are you talking about? The daiquiri starts with a D, and D is the 4th letter in the alphabet, and the 4th letter in the alphabet means April. April is when they're going to show the trailer. It's like, all right, settle the fuck down. Settle down. Krebsy says GTA 6 trailer 2 will release in April, and it will be a character trailer. Then in June, it will be a gameplay trailer. Game releases on October 23rd, 2025. Krebsy is trying to manifest it happening, right? I hope it happens. So Krebsy will be like, I told you. And then all we do is just give him a cookie. A virtual one. A virtual cookie. What else we got here? Vampire Survivor is free for 1 day only. Isn't that sad? How much is Vampire Survivor? Like $2? $5? How much is Vampire Survivor? $4. And people, they're giving their game away for free. And people are like, I don't know if I want to support a small independent developer that's making stuff. I would rather give $20 for a skin. What else we got here? Doesn't look like there's much news going on. Lots of holiday things that are in in games and whatnot. Already read that one. Nope. Krebsy says, I'm going to share a title. Stalker 2 update 1.1 has over 18,000 or 1,800 fixes. But they're going to tell you that game was so good when it came out. So good, Krebsy. Okay? It's selling so well. Okay? It's amazing. It's amazing what people will accept. Right? Having a blast with it. Everything's good. 1,800 fixes. Beast Games is now on Prime Video. Mr. Beast's game show just launched today. Sounds like an average, or it sounds like an Avengers update. Sounds like an Avengers update. Yeah, they had about those types of fixes. Z says 30. Imagine the shit we would get with movies if they could fix them in the first couple of months. Didn't they do that with the movie Cats? The Broadway play of Cats, when it came into theaters, they had to do a patch because people were like being freaked out or something, so they had to go back and do a patch for the movie. It happened. We talked about it, Z. We talked about it when it came out originally. I was like, they're fucking patching movies now. Yeah, the theaters are receiving a new version of Cats with some improved visual effects just days after it premiered to dismal reviews. The update for CGI heavy movie was available to download on Sunday night, with the hard drives otherwise ready to ship by Tuesday, according to a memo. That was back in 2019. God, that was like 5 years ago when we talked about that. That's fucking crazy. Crazy. Almost 6. Almost 6 years ago when we talked about that. And I remember like it was yesterday. I think maybe 4 of you that still watch me were there. I think, let's see, 2019. Definitely Dupless, El Dente. Who else? Maybe Krebsy? Krebsy, were you here in 2019? You talk about the Ubisoft reportedly developing a new quadruple A game after Skull and Bones. NFL owner used Madden ratings to make player decisions. We'll talk about that tonight. We'll talk about that tonight on GXG. All right, so that's going to do it for today. We didn't make our goal of 5 super chats to watch the Superman trailer. So we will not be watching the Superman trailer this morning. I do appreciate you very much coming out, hanging out with us. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you'd like to go above and beyond that, become a member as little as $5. We'll be back tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. 8 p.m. Eastern for some gaming news. We rant along the way. So make sure you come out tonight for the podcast. Tomorrow morning, I might do another Indiana Jones gameplay, but I'm not sure yet. I have a doctor's appointment. I have a doctor's appointment at 9 o'clock a.m., and by the time I'm done with that, I don't know if I'll... it'll be like 11 o'clock by the time I come out. So stay in date and Discord or whatnot. Stealth, you son of a bitch. Stealth says, watch, $2. He says, $2 super chat, watch. Stealth says, it, for another $2. $2 super chat says now. So for a $6 super chat total, he says, watch it now. All right. Let me get the trailer. I didn't think we were gonna get it. 2 minutes. Is this it? All right, this is it. DC Superman official teaser trailer. Let me just make sure this is the correct one. Okay. All right. All right. Make sure. Okay. All right. Make sure it's loud enough for you guys. Does that count as a companion? Like, not a companion. Obviously, a dog's a companion. Like, is this like his Robin? You know what I mean? I have to say, is he playing? That's a Green Lantern guy, right? That's what the fuck? I'm not really a big DC guy. What's his name? I forget. That Hawk Girl guy does it. The music really does it. The music really, really gets you. Here's the thing. Okay. I don't know if I like, right, the cut of the trailer. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. I get if you like it, right? I think they could have cut a better trailer. Right? I think they could have cut a better trailer. There's some really cool moments in that trailer. Some of it shows off way too much of the movie. Okay? I do like the music. I hope the soundtrack is like that, you know, with the guitar and shit like that for the actual film. I think it shows a little bit way too much. Especially, I don't like that there's way too many other characters in a Superman film. And here's my thought process. Okay? If this is a reboot of Superman, okay, I think you're heavily putting too much on other characters in the realm of DC, where it should just be about Superman. Now, I get that we all know who Superman is, right? I get that we don't have to tell the same story over again, but I do think they could have told a story with just Superman as the first reboot of Superman without putting all the other heroes in. I don't want to be the Marvels of DC where they bring in too many characters in too many places, if that makes sense. Nate says, what? Do I need to repeat myself? In a Superman film, as the first one in the new rebooted DC universe, I don't think they needed to make all these other characters in a Superman film. Salty says that teaser to the proper trailer, so you think that they're showing you too much. Just you wait. The trailer, the teaser of the trailer they showed yesterday, I thought was perfect. They didn't show you too much, and it left you thinking, oh, I'm excited, right? In this trailer, they showed way too much. Robert Jones says, I actually feel opposite. No more interested because there are more characters. Too many characters, not a Superman film. I was mid on it before. So because they showed like Hawk Girl and all, all the other ones, you're more interested now. Stealth says you're welcome, chat. Yes, thank you, Stealth. I don't know if there was 4 villains. I think there are other DC characters. See, I don't know where they're going with it. I'm interested in the movie. I'm going to watch it because I love watching Superman films. I just don't think that you need... I don't know. And I'm like this with any... I love the way Marvel did the movies before they did the Justice League. Or, I'm sorry, before they did Avengers. Like, I wanted... Before they did the Justice League with Wonder Woman and Batman and Aquaman and all the other stuff, I wanted them to each have their own standalone movie and then come together like the Marvels did. It's just better that way, right? You give enough time to shine for each of those characters in their own separate movie, and then you put them together. They never gave a movie to Ben Affleck as Batman. They never gave him his own standalone film, right? Cyborg and Flash movie came out way too late. Okay, now with the reboot of this, they had the opportunity, and I think they kind of, I don't know, the way I look at it as a movie person, right? As a person that worked in the industry for 20 years, I look at this and go, can Superman stand on his own? He should be able to. Christopher Reeves did it, right? Back in the day. Was it Brandon Roth? Is that what his name was? Right? Like, you don't need all these other heroes and cast of characters to tell a Superman story. You could just tell a Superman story. Jason says, I think Gunn's going down the classic Golden Age route where team-up comics were huge in those days. He might be, and it might be a wonderful film. I'm just giving you my opinion, Jason, right? 100% he could be going down that that path. I just don't think all superhero movies need to have a buddy team-up type of thing, right? I think superheroes can stand on their own first, and then you explore the other characters. Like, why not give us a Hawk Man and Hawk Girl movie, right? And obviously not first in your new reboot. Introduce them, tell a story, and then throw them into a movie. Because remember, the movies do well because there's a lot of comic book fans, but the comic book fans are still a niche market compared to the broader audience. The broader audience has no idea who these people are. Hell, I don't even know half the characters. As he says, 8:30, do you think with the old Green Lantern, with the old Mr. Fantastic, with the hot girl, they also passing the torch to newer superheroes? Perhaps starting it off just like, here's what it is, setting the tone. Salty says it was brilliant build-up in Marvel. Yeah, it was awesome. It made those movies even better when you had to watch the Captain America, the Thor, the Iron Man, right? Bringing them all together, giving them their own moment, because there's so many characters when you have a team up that you barely even give a moment of time. If it's a 2-hour movie, you have to have a story, and you're going to have like these backup characters for what purpose? If they just like pop in. Look at Wolverine and Deadpool. It works there because of what it was, but you already had the buildup. You already know who Elektra was. You already know who Blade is. You already know who all those people are. Can you imagine if they just threw in all these characters that you had no idea who they were? You know what I'm saying? And they gave them very little screen time in Deadpool and Wolverine. You already knew those characters because you watched their movies. And it works in the Deadpool because of the whole story that was going on with that movie. What is the 8th reboot of Superman again? What is this? The 8th? There's Reeves, there's Roth, there's Cavill. If you're taking the what's it called? The TV series. It's like 5 or 6. Yeah. Movie wise, I think this is the 4th. Is it the 4th or 5th? Z says there are previous superheroes before Superman arrives. This is how I kind of look at it. That's a good point. That's a good viewpoint, Z. That'd be interesting. They were already there, then he comes in. Salty says, I see Gunn going Guardians Squad of Heroes, Creature Commandos, and then he can't help himself as sticking to one. Yeah, I mean, he likes those team-ups. He likes the Guardians of the Galaxy stuff. He likes the Suicide Squad stuff. He does well with them, but a lot of characters don't get enough screen time. They show the dad, so that means we get another tornado scene. True. Some said the other day when they played Marvel Rivals, the opposite teams has Hawkeye, and my team is stuck with Hawk 2. The reboot, but the world already knows Superman, and he's already established in this film. Right, so how many years afterwards? So we don't need to tell the same story of he grew up, right? His father dies or whatever. Right? It's a new telling of the story, which is fine. I don't think they have to say the same story of Superman. I think you could pick a different plot point to it. Nate says, if you're into comics, you know who all those characters were. Everybody knew who each character is. Sure, Nate. But do you know why? You know why Dark Souls sold 5 million copies, and you know why Elden Ring sold 28 million copies, right? There's a niche community, and people buy those, and because it's a hard game to play, a lot of people didn't buy it. But when they made Elden Ring a little bit more broad-based so more people could play it, more people went to go see it because they knew who the fucking characters are, or they knew they could play the game, right? So when you're playing a character or when you're watching a movie, there's the niche community. You're making the movie for comic book fans, which is understandable, okay? But at the same time, you also have to tell a story in the movie for people that don't know who those characters are and introduce those characters. And to hit the broader audience that people might like the film, right, you would have to understand who those characters are. If they don't explain who those characters are, they'd be like, people just go in there shoving, right, popcorn in their face, and they don't really understand what it is. Eclipse says, yeah, I'm pretty sure Gunn said he didn't want to start over because it's been done so many times. Yeah, and I understand that. I'm not asking for a reboot for the same story over and over again like they do with Spider-Man all the time, right? I'm just saying you could tell a story about Superman without bringing all the other characters in. We all know these characters. That's not true, Jason. Again, comic book fans understand that, but the majority of the audience that's going to watch the film has no idea who those characters are. Zero. Zilch. Nada. If you want to be a comic book fan and you're only facing those, then each fan has to see that movie 4 or 5 times to make up for the one time people see it and go, oh, okay, right? The movie will skip Superman's origin story, and Clark Kent will already have Superman when the movie begins. Clark Kent will already be Superman. Sure. It's just how many years afterwards? Is it 2 years? Is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? Like, what is it? It takes place in a universe where superheroes have existed for a while. Sure, it's the same as if you were watching the Amazon show, right? The superheroes are just amongst the people. Everyone knows about them and stuff like that, right? I totally get it. It's the Marvel universe now where everyone knows all the superheroes. They've been around. Who was the face mask guy for Green Lantern looking character? That was there's Mr. Terrific, there's Hawkgirl, there's Guy Gardner. I think there was Metamorpher, right? That's the guy's name, Metamorpher, whatever it was. Mr. Fantastic. No, it's Mr. Terrific. Yeah, it's Mr. Terrific. And then, of course, Crypto. I thought the dog was good, right? I like to see how they put that into play. I don't hate the trailer, by the way. I think the trailer is good. I'm also come from a different perspective of just a normie person that's watching a trailer. I look at the trailer and they showed way too much. Showed way too much in that trailer. The less the better. The less the better. To make me get excited for Superman, if I didn't know about any of those characters in the film, and then when I sat down and watched the film, and then they start coming in the movie, that would have excited me. But now that I know they're in the film, that makes me a little worried. It makes me worried as a viewer that Superman can't stand on his own. That's what, again, do I think the movie's going to be bad? No. I'm going to go watch the movie. I'm interested in the movie. I love Superman. I love going to watch the thing. I love, even with the Brandon Roth Superman, right? I love, like, all the Superman movies I've loved in some way, shape, or form. Even the shitty one with the fucking real estate one where Lex Luthor was trying to buy real estate or whatever. It was the worst one ever. Okay. It'll be very interesting to see the way they do this one. I just, again, I'll come back to it. Okay. I just think showing all those characters during the trailer makes me a little worried, because what's the difference between that and the Justice League? Showing all those characters to hype up the movie to get me in. You're selling me on the characters to come to watch the film, where all you had to do was show me a good Superman trailer. You see what I'm saying? Well, that's what Z said up above, right? Where they're there and Superman comes, which is fine. But if this is taking place in a different universe and he's already established there, then I'm assuming that Superman's already been on that planet for quite some time. So I don't know if that's true or not. Maybe he stopped being Superman and now he has to come back as Superman because of whatever reason. Travis says, sorry I'm late. I had a doctor's. We're talking about a psychopathic man. Stell says, is currently 29 years old. Okay. Though as of tomorrow, July 8th, he'll be 30, meaning Clark Kent is likely meant to be in his late 20s to early 30s. So he's been around for like a decade. It's less than 2.5. So it seems that the movie will feel like it needs an extra 45 minutes. That's a lot of characters to have in there to tell a story. Z says, as Crypto drags him across the ice and the entire movie is a flashback. No, I mean, I guess it could be a flashback for a moment of why he stopped being Superman. And maybe he gets, I'll put it in this perspective, right? Maybe he gets, he's scared. You know what I mean? He's scared and he stops being Superman because he thinks that people hate him or whatnot, right? And he needs a break. And then the other superheroes start taking over his thing, and people keep asking for Superman. They're like, oh man, where's Superman? Where's Superman? And at some point now this one bad guy, creature, whatever comes, and they need Superman, right? They need Superman to come back, and then that's when he comes back, what we see, right? Maybe we watch why he stopped being Superman, and then even the poster shows him lacing up, like putting his boots back on. Maybe that's what it's showing. Maybe it's showing that Superman was Superman. If it's 10 years later, that there was a point where he stopped being Superman for whatever reason, and then all of a sudden now he's coming back because now the world needs him. Now the other superheroes need him. That's what I get from the trailer. He says 30. No, spoiler alert. He just leaked the entire plot. I don't know if that's the plot, but that's the way I look at it. The very first poster that we saw of him is he's sitting at this fucking chaos going on behind the window, and he's putting on his boots, right? Right? Maybe he falls in love with Lois, and gave up Superman for her, right? Maybe he gave up being Superman for her, for love, and then all of a sudden now they need him more than ever, and she comes back, and that hug that we see at the end of the trailer is he's suiting back up. Boom! I have to go back and look at that trailer. Let me look back at it for a second. Where's the? There's a moment. Yeah, this part right here, right? I'm assuming that this shot right here, okay, this shot right here is the poster where he suits up, right? And then she's coming in saying, like, he doesn't want to be Superman, but there's fucking chaos happening. There's a big fucking creature in the back, in the background, right? Right here. This right here. There's a giant alien shooting the shit in the background, okay? And she's just like, you gotta do it. They need you. Do you know what I mean? He's like, but I don't want to go back. I don't want to do it. Right? And then they fake you out, right? They fake you out. He leans in for the kiss there. He goes in for the hug. Right? That's all he needed. That's all he needs. Just needs a hug. He just needs an embrace. He needs her to tell him it's okay. Go do you. Right? Right? They don't know what they need. They need you. They need the man. They need help. Right? That's it. Boom. We'll see what happens in July. I think the trailer could have been different. Obviously, it could have been different. I think they showed too much. I'm a person that likes to see less. Less is more for me for a trailer to get my ass into the theater. And that's just not for Superman. I'm talking about any movie. Less is more. If you remember the trailers back in the day, they would tell you nothing about the film. They would tell you nothing about the film. Now they're showing you the entire plot in 2 minutes. They show you the best jokes in the trailer. They show you the best action sequences in the trailer. They show you way too much. As he says, man needs one woman to think he is the hero. That's it. We're very simplistic. Right? We're very simplistic. He's not only is he alien, right? But he's also human. And he's just waiting for his woman to tell him they need you. Purdy just saved me $25 IMAX ticket. I'm going to go watch it. I think the trailer looks good. Like I said, I just think they could have showed us less. Stealth says 5:23 Mission Impossible. 5:30 Karate Kid. Let's see. Ballerina. 28 years later. Jurassic World. Fantastic Four. And Superman. Seems like a good movie year. Hopefully those movies all come out and they're all really good. Water Bear says Superman 2025, 7 out of 10 IGN. That's all it's going to be. I'd like to thank you guys for the super chats because we're going to get demonetized. We're going to get demonetized for showing that trailer. So I do appreciate you very much for filling in for that. Nate says I'm going to see it 5 times. Awesome. Yeah, I'm not giving hate to the movie. I think just trailers need to be less show less in the trailers. Let us imagine what it is. Instead of showing us Hawk Girl, right? They could have showed a little piece of like a wing or something, right? You could have been like, oh, right? What's your favorite movie trailer? I'll be honest. I don't even fucking remember. Like, I like movie trailers back in like the late 80s, early 90s, where they just showed you so little. You're like, that looks badass. Like, it was just simple. It's just simpler. Like, trailers back then in the late 80s, early 90s were just great. 30 wants to see the stripper, not just coming naked. Yeah, I want some. That's a good analogy, right? I want to be teased. I don't want you just walking in the room naked, right? It's obviously Snow White. 30 is one of the million dislikes. Right, Sarge. Let me see a movie trailer since we're already demonetized. What's a movie? You know what? Matrix came out, what, 1990? Hold on, let me see. Okay, this is the Matrix movie trailer, right? This is the Matrix movie trailer. Since we're already fucking demonetized anyway. I don't remember it. I want to see what they showed here, and this is 1999, right? We'll do 1999. We'll do one a little later.
Whoa. Have you ever had a dream, Neo, that you were so sure was real? What if you were unable to wake from that dream? How would you know the difference between the dream world and the real world?
What is happening to me?
The answer is out there, Neo. It's the question that drives us.
What is the Matrix?
The Matrix is the world that has been put
Like, do you see the trailer? It's telling you a story in the trailer.
over your eyes to blind you from the truth.
What truth?
They're watching you, Neo.
Human beings are a disease. You are a cancer of this planet. And we
Like, they're showing stuff, but they're not showing a lot of
are the
stuff.
cure.
Get me the hell out of here!
Real fast.
Welcome to the real world.
So you're here to save the world.
So what do you need? Guns. Lots of guns.
No one has ever done anything like this.
That's why it's going to work.
Buckle your seatbelt, Dorothy. Because Kansas is going bye-bye.
Show some. They're not giving away the whole fucking plot. And I think this is the turning of the century of, like, when they started telling a little too much. This is the early days of it.
Unfortunately, no one can be told what the Matrix is. You have to see it for yourself.
But do you see how that trailer? So let's go back to even further a little bit. Let's go back. What year did let me see, Superman? Let's see, Superman. I don't want this one. I want the. Here's a 1987 Superman trailer. Okay.
Lois Lane, say hello to Clark Kent.
Any more at home like you?
Like, I don't know. It's just more simplistic. They're not telling you the whole fucking plot. They're just showing you doing Superman stuff. Again, my only criticism to the trailer is they showed too much. It's not a flaw to the movie. It's a flaw to the trailer. It's a flaw to just movie trailers in general. If you want people to, I look at the glass half full instead of half empty. I look at if you show less, more people would go to the theater to see it because you would hype up people to look at what the movie is and go, that interests me. For the little they showed me, and I'm going to go see that in theaters. And then buzz starts happening. You're like, man, it's really good. But if you show everything in the trailer, then people are like, nah, I'm good. I'll just wait for it to come on video, right? I don't know. That's just the way I look at things. Sarge, it's funny how the plot line is actually the Green Deal for California. Yeah, like 40 years later. Travis says, 30 genuine question, is Gene Hackman ever in a bad movie? Not being able to just okay, but bad movie. No, I think he's a good actor, so I would say no. There might have been like one or two. All right. Thanks for everyone that gave a super chat this morning. Watch Superman trailer. We'll be back tonight. Generation X Gaming weekly podcast that goes over a few of the top stories in the past week, and we rant along the way. I do appreciate you very much for coming out and hanging out with us. Enjoy the rest of your day, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.